Max Stewart, CEO, GADC. Welcome to South Carolina.
Thanks.
Welcome to Greenville, and welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. Happy to be here.
It is good to have you, man. You've only been here, what, 3-4 months?
Yeah, 92 days
Not
on the dot.
You know it down to
Not
the
counting,
day.
yeah.
Is family here with you?
We are family. Yep, everybody's up here now.
Okay, good. And you come from Florida. Bradenton area.
Bradenton, Sarasota, just south of Tampa.
I got you. So that is a big area. You know, I looked up, and if you look at the Tampa Bay MSA, it is, I think, like 2.5 million people, maybe a little more. South Carolina, 5 million people. So, you know, that spot in Florida is half the size of the state in terms of population. But I think there's a lot of similarities between Florida and South Carolina.
You know, there's a lot of the benefits of quality of life here in the area between Florida and South Carolina is pretty much on par with each other. Cost of living is very close, similar in the markets. So kind of very similar markets in that respect.
Here's a couple interesting facts that I want to get into before we get into some weeds.
Sure.
South Carolina in 2023, fastest growing state in the United States in terms of a percent, 1.7%. Number 2, Florida at 1.6, tied with Texas at 1.6. Another similarity, SEC or South Carolina's unemployment rate at 3% last year, which is a little higher than we were for a while, was 18th. Florida, 2.9% at 17th. Tourism big in both states. Advanced manufacturing actually bigger in Florida than I realized until I started taking a look at it. And IT booming in both states. Similarities.
You know, very similar. The one thing that we have going for us in both states right now is the aerospace industry, the aviation industry. Those are huge. I mean, here in South Carolina with Boeing, and then in Florida with the aerospace, the rocket industry.
Of course,
it's growing there too. So a lot of similarities in the structure of both states. Very military focused backgrounds with those types of things. So a lot of what we do is focused on that advanced manufacturing, aviation, aerospace industry.
Right. So we're going to continue with that in a second, but Greenville, great place to live, as you know, right? And I moved to Greenville about 2 decades ago. It's been 20 years now, 21, I think. And when I moved here 21 years ago, we could call it a hidden gem. You can't call it a hidden gem anymore. It's on every list you see everywhere about best cities, best places to retire and all that. And so now you get to come in and put your stamp on a city like Greenville. But Greenville is a great place to live, but it's also a good place to work. Tell me why.
So when we were coming up here for the tour of the area, we got to meet a lot of the different business leaders on my interview process for this. And I got to learn a lot about this area as a business destination. You know, most people don't know that this is the upstate is the global with the U.S. headquarters for BMW, U.S. headquarters for Michelin. The F-16 is made here in Greenville County.
The only place.
The only place in the entire world that's made or refurbished. So this is a great place to do business. And I was kind of surprised about the number of possibilities for companies to be engaged in the market. The workforce, there's some things we're working on in the workforce, but I think this is just a great market.
Other than it's beautiful, right? Other than it is 85 and 385 and positioning between Charlotte and Atlanta and the beach and the mountains and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What is it that makes a business person say, I want to relocate or start my business in the upstate of South Carolina or Greenville?
As a CEO that's just moved here to the market, I can say that I think the friendliness of the people, the quality of the people in this market wins out a lot of people's hearts and minds. You know, you want to move in a market where you feel welcomed, where you feel like I can succeed here. But if you feel like all the doors are closed all the time, that can hinder you from wanting to do business here. But all the doors have been open. I've talked to some other CEOs who are new to the market and said, I've had access to people, the resources that I need to succeed in business. And so that's what a lot of people are asking for. They know they can do their business. They know how to do their business, but is the community welcoming to them? And I think we've shown that here in Greenville County and in the Greenville area, that we are a welcoming place for both people and for business. And that makes people comfortable being here.
Agreed. GADC, let's talk about that. You come in, And you've been here, like we say, 3 or 4 months. Just kind of give us that elevator speech of GADC. A lot of our folks know it, but one more time for those who may not, and what the structure looks like and the mission of the organization.
Yeah, so the GADC is a public-private partnership of Greenville County. We are the lead economic development organization for Greenville County. We are in charge of business recruitment, business retention, and negotiating the incentives and the programs that are available to companies that are looking to expand in this market or relocate to this market. And so we are on the forefront of creating prosperity and quality of life for Greenville County citizens, all Greenville County citizens in that market. We are governed by a board of 15 people that are appointed by the county council, and they are citizens in the community. So they are representative of the community, and they're able to work with us to kind of make policy decisions. What goes on? What are we going to be focused on at the Greenville area EDC? What our role's going to be.
Max, I want to pivot into workforce.
Sure.
As you, I am sure, know, manufacturing, advanced manufacturing is driving the South Carolina economy these days, right? I mean, tourism is always there, but from a dollar perspective, advanced manufacturing brings in a whole lot of money to the economy. And it is experiencing some workforce challenges.
It is.
Lots of jobs are out there, lots of cool jobs, lots of good paying jobs, but we can't find people. And that goes for facilities right here in Greenville. What are you hearing, and what can you do about it?
Well, that when we work with a project, it's, established business here in Greenville County or an expanding one, the first place we take them is to Greenville Tech, to the CMI Center, to look at what are the opportunities for upskilling a workforce. And I think we are in a community at a preface point when we are not just this distribution market, low, light manufacturing. We're getting into that advanced manufacturing. So we're having to kind of upskill, retool the workforce to kind of get into that advanced manufacturing sector. A lot of these jobs still, don't need a degree, advanced degree in engineering, but they do need specialized training.
That's right.
And so moving the needle on the workforce, what are the programs offered? Really engaged with the business community, because they are the ones who are saying we need this X, Y, and Z program, and then getting Greenville Tech and the school system to kind of pivot in that direction. That does take some time and planning, and so that's, I think, where we're at as a community, going from that distribution, light manufacturing job to more of that advanced manufacturing job, professional technical services. So relying on Greenville Tech, Clemson, our university partners, I think that's where we're at right now. So it's a pivot point, definitely, for us.
Do you have a concern if I'm a manufacturer and I come in here and they're aware of some workforce issues that it's kind of hard to find folks? Do you have a concern that that's going to prevent somebody from coming into town?
That's the number one concern we see in the table. When we fill out an RFI or we're working with a consultant, how does our community match up? Quality of life, we match up with a lot of different communities. We hit way above our weight with matching communities around the country, Austin, Texas, Nashville. We're hitting above our weight, but we get down to the workforce issues. That is a challenge for a lot of these consultants and companies that are looking at this market, because they see that there's a need for the bigger workforce. So our job as a community, as community leaders, is to get the word out there about the opportunities for students in the market. Whether or not they take that or not, that's our goal, is to find the right message and get that message out there. So,
you mentioned Austin and Nashville.
Yeah.
What are some other sister cities that you benchmark yourself against?
We really look at a number of markets. I just mentioned those a few, but Raleigh, Raleigh-Durham area, a lot in Pennsylvania, a lot of that Pittsburgh market, the old manufacturing market there. Some out west. We're looking at some of the Orange County, the Riverside, California markets in the aviation sector. So there are quite a few benchmarks for us. But if you're looking at level-to-level field, we hit above where we should be in a lot of different aspects. And so that's a benefit to Greenville. We've done a great job of marketing this as a destination, and so now we have to start hitting that benchmark at the higher level.
You're going to have to work closely with Upstate Alliance, right? And John Lummis, the CEO over there, and his great group of folks. Tell our viewers how that partnership works.
Yeah.
What do they do? Where do you all take over? Do they tee it up and you come in, or what does it look like?
Yeah, so the Upstate Alliance is our lead marketing organization for the Upstate and business development. They're the ones who are getting the leads to come to the Upstate region. It's our job to work with the companies after they've kind of come to the market, seen the market, where they like it. Oh, I like Greenville, I like Lawrence, or I like this market. And then we work with them on the deal negotiation, site selection, all those aspects. And so, the upstate is the marketing arm of this, the business development trips part of it.
Yeah.
But our job is really to seal the deal, work with our strategic land, the land that we have, and the county to negotiate the project to land here in the county.
Next year, 2025, tell me what types of industries you all might be looking at. Manufacturing aside, right? What is going to drive the boat in the future here? You mentioned aerospace.
Yep. Aerospace, aviation, aerospace, and the defense industry will drive a lot of probably what we do in 2025 with relates to Lockheed and some of the other industry sectors. We have GE is here as well. But I think we're going to be pivoting a little bit to that life science area. There's a lot of interest in life science. There's a lot of companies that are in that startup ecosystem in the life science industry here. They're going to be looking at Greenville because Greenville is now at kind of one of those mini metropolis markets for life science companies.
What happened that made the upstate of South Carolina a place for life science?
I have gotten into it a little bit, and what I've seen is there are some companies that are in that manufacturing sector, and the kind of that normal progression for a project is you have a manufacturing presence in an area. And then you start bringing your R&D presence in there. And then you start bringing your research and your C-suite level people into a market. And I think we're seeing that, with Bausch & Lomb, with some of the other bigger companies, Arthrex over in Anderson County. You're seeing some of that manufacturing here. And then now we're in the phase of starting to see some of that R&D infrastructure move into the market. And then it's probably going to be where we'll start seeing the C-suite companies. But I think the biggest thing is we're building from the ground up. We're starting with smaller manufacturers in that area who have moved from other markets and said, hey, I want to start a life science company. This is a perfect place. Right. It's a pretty green field for that. Yeah. So there's no preconceived notions about different tech. We're happy to work with everybody.
Let's talk about what has happened in 2024. I know you've only been here for 92 days of it. 92 days. I got that, but you probably have had plenty of conversations. Kind of give us an overview. What happened in Greenville County in 2024?
We've had a really unique thing happen in Greenville County this year is with our projects, we saw pretty much a 50-50 split between companies that were looking to locate here in the market and established businesses kind of expand in this market. So a few unique projects we've had. One of the
I'm sorry, let me interrupt just one sec. When you say a 50-50, are you talking about number of projects?
Number of projects.
Or dollar value?
Number of projects.
Okay, keep going.
So the local company, great example of this is the Swamp Rabbit Cafe and Grocery Store. This year, they decided to expand their presence here locally, and they are now opening a distribution center to do more Swamp Rabbit grocery store products in the market. They are, a small business. They've grown up from this market. And they're now at that level where they're really ready to expand and distribute their product. On the big side, the big project, then you go to the other projects that's kind of relocated here or establishing a new presence. Enersys, which is one of our battery manufacturers that's moving into the upstate region. That's a $500 million phase one project with about 500 jobs over 5 years. A huge capital investment. But then on the international side, too, we have a company called Expandable, which is a $3 million capital investment project from the Netherlands that's opening a expandable kind of office or expandable housing. So you see a very wide, unique range of projects.
You talked about batteries.
Yeah.
You've only been here a short period of time, but what is your impression? Are South Carolina folks going to support electric vehicles?
I think there's more to it than just the electric vehicle. There's the battery storage part of this. I mean, we talk about in the state of South Carolina, grid resiliency right now is another thing we're working on. And there's a program called SC Nexus, which is working on that sustainable energy field. What does grid resiliency look like? What does battery storage look like? So more than just the electric vehicles, which are great wins for the market, but there's also that industrial storage capacity as well. So we're seeing both the electric vehicle, but also the battery technology between Enersys and Phenacon with industrial sized batteries, not just the car batteries to the market.
You have had a chance to look into it.
Oh, I've been looking at it.
I bet you
trying a little bit. So.
I bet you have. All right, let's look forward to 2025. What kind of year are you expecting?
We expect probably a little bit of a smaller year on the overall project. I think it's going to be more quality than quantity for projects. Our job is we can be very specific about what projects we support in the market. So my job and my team's job is to be very nuanced in the projects that we bring into the market. Do they fit what is going on currently in Greenville County? Do they have the same workforce demands that we have for the the employment market? And do they really support the growing needs we have here in the market? So I think that's where we're going to be, is we're going to be focused on quality over quantity of projects. And we're also going to be really focused on making sure that our manufacturing base here in this market is taken care of. So our established businesses here in Greenville County, if they're growing, our county is going to continue to grow. But we need to make sure every single day that we're out there in the market talking to them to make sure that they have the tools and resources to grow themselves.
Any word on when the next big announcement's going to happen, Max?
We will probably have another big announcement in December of this year.
Okay.
For 2025. So you can look forward to that.
All right. You got a Christmas present coming up.
Hopefully we got a Christmas present.
I look forward to it. All right. I'm going to get you out of here on this. What is number one on your agenda now as you settle in?
I am working on my team. My vision and board supported vision is I want to empower a team that builds a resilient and inclusive Greenville County.
Yeah.
Resilient to economic pressures, either up or down, that continues to grow, but also inclusive. And I use the term inclusive. Michelin has a great term for this, is every citizen has an opportunity at a job that they love. And so that is my focus on 2025 going forward. We're going to build a team that empowers the community to build a resilient and inclusive Greenville County.
Love it. Good stuff, Max.
Yep.